Well, Motorsport Games finally gave us a clue as to what the next 12 months of NASCAR console gaming looks like. I'm Alan Bailey, and today we're going to break down everything that Motorsport Games just announced on Shifting Gears. I'm Alan Bailey, and before we get started, make sure you smash that subscribe button so you don't miss a video here on the channel, and make sure that you log on to AmericanRacingNetwork.com for the latest on this and other motorsports news. Yeah, we finally got the first look at this new content that's coming to NASCAR 21 Ignition. It is free to all users, but is this a good thing or a bad thing? We're going to talk about all the in-between notes that got announced today and what the next 12 months will look like later on in the video. But for now, let's check out this unedited footage of the trailer that got announced for this new expansion. What do you think? I want to hear from you guys. Let me know in the comments down below. What do you think of this new footage and the news that got announced today by Motorsport Games? Before we do anything, let's break down the actual footage. So doing kind of a frame-by-frame deep dive of the trailer, but not so frame-by-frame because we don't want to do that for a minute. A lot of the visual aspects of the game have not changed. Auto Club Speedway is back in the game. It was removed in 2021 from the real life schedule because of COVID restrictions, and it was added back in 2022, and because of that it is now in the 2022 expansion. This is my home track, so I actually love, well, I guess the LA Clash is my home track now, but I love Auto Club Speedway. I've been going out there for 25 plus years, have not missed a cup race out there ever. I absolutely love it out there. Love the track. Gonna miss the 2-miler when it goes to a half-mile after this next year, but I'm excited for the future, man. We're gonna wait and see what this track has to offer. But scanning forward a little bit, this is on the outside of Daytona. Maybe this is just one of those visual cues that they added into the game as part of the pre-race, but as a driver, I should never have to be on this side of the track. I pray I'm never on this side of the track as a driver. So much needed addition for 2022 was the addition of the digital dash, I should say. It's a little camera that's mounted on the roof that looks behind the driver and displays it here, as well as the OG regular mirror. As far as the game's concerned, glad that they added this in. Hope it works, hope it's accurate. Really glad that they added in this little side mirror as well. This is huge for me personally and for a lot of drivers, and this is here in real life. Don't think it sticks out this far necessarily, but you know, still really glad that that's there, and I can actually read this without having to take my eyes off the action. So kudos to not only NASCAR for putting the digital dash up here, but also for Motorsport Games, who I don't believe that this is how the dash is, but in the next gen car, but I could be wrong. So interesting. We'll wait and see. Someone online was asking, where is this? This is Auto Club Speedway. Ironically, this will be the front and back straightaway when the conversion is done. This will probably be roughly where the turn is, because this is down closer to turn 1 than turn 4. But yeah, this is the tunnel going over the suites and media center and different amenities that are back there, but they're suites on the second floor, terrace suites as part of those suites on the roof. One of my favorite spots to watch a race, sincerely, because you could see most of the track in a 360 view around you. It's absolutely incredible, and you know, I'm gonna miss that with this track. I really truly am. I'm gonna try to do some video footage when I do my diary when we go to Fontana for the final race at the 2-miler. But yeah, this gives me goosebumps because this to me is my home. for lack of a better term. I've been covering races at Auto Club Speedway for 12, 13 years, however long it's been now, and I've been going to every single race at this track, either as a professional or as a fan. So I'm gonna miss the 2-miler, but I love this visual cue. They knew what they were doing when they put this in here, at least for a kid from Southern California. So this kind of confirms what I thought. These are not the next-gen cars. These are literally a reskin, because you could see right in this area on the 11 car. Yeah, that valence doesn't dip in. That's just straight with black paint over it. So these cars are not the next-gen cars. They are the old generation of cars, and that's just unfortunate. And here's what's interesting. We look at the 4, and here, there's clearly some space here. There's clearly daylight here. So not sure what's going on. Maybe they used the wrong footage in the trailer, which is entirely possible for this company. They're running on a skeleton crew from what I hear, but this is a completely different car, and the diffusers here, it looks good. This still looks odd. This bumper and this space here, it's off. So they kind of have really created not a next-gen car, and the roof slits are in there as well, and I don't think that's the camera. I think that's the front cam, but I could be wrong. Based off these views, I don't know, that might be the rear camera, I think. I don't know, I can't tell, because these graphics are just poor. Keep in mind, this is in HD, supposedly, but this is what they put out there, so this is what we have to work with. Oh, good to know that when we go back to Daytona, it's just going to be a train. So this, to me, confirms that they did not fix the AI issues, because you have all these drivers all in a line, and yeah, that kind of happens in real life, but that's a mid-race thing. If you're doing a quick race that's like, 4 or 5 laps, this shouldn't be the case. AI shouldn't behave this way, yet this is what Daytona looks like. It is free to all users. That's a good, acknowledgement that they screwed up. Essentially, they took the assets from what would have been the game that would have been released this month or next month, and essentially made it into a free patch for everybody to put out. At least I'm hearing it could be a patch. It might actually just be a DLC, but a free one nevertheless. So, they did the right thing by the fans there. I got to give them credit for that. A look at Phoenix, and we look at Bowman right here. There is a roof slit there. His name is slid over, and it does look like the valence is missing there a little bit, like it does in real life. So another screenshot that kind of proves, yeah, maybe they did model this car correctly. I don't know. First look at the wheels. They actually look fine, but you could see very pixely and very not great looking. I don't know what this is. This is not the design. It's not this thick. So, it might just be they reskinned it and they didn't do a good job at it. All right, cool. The only thing they really did over here is they added the tire and the fuel gauge, and they modified the way that looks. That's the only thing that changed. The leaderboard, I mean, the leaderboard, even in this screenshot, you look up here. Keselowski, I mean, yes, it's mid-change, but let's fast forward a second here. No, can't fast forward a second. Working there just fine. Yes, clearly Keselowski's ahead there in this screenshot, and it does look like there is a front cam and the rear cam here in this shot, as well as the hood vents. So, steps in the right direction, but this is not a quality of life improvement. It's not. But they did get the new fonts in, it looks like. So, step in the right direction. Here's a look at the chase view. I predominantly use this view in this game just because of the mirror situation. And you can see the diffuser. This car looks good, but this back bumper screams old car, not new car to me. Same with all of them. So they kind of have a hodgepodge of new car, old car going on, because this is very odd looking to me, having seen these cars a lot in real life. So I don't know. Here's your first look at the pit stop change. As you can see from the rims, those are the actual rims. Those look very accurate, at least at this angle, to what's in real life. So I don't know, and we can kind of see a close-up of the car, and you can see the slits, you could see the rear camera. The front camera, I think it's there, but the colors just are so poor you can't really tell. But the rim looks accurate, and here you get a look at the pick gun, which is accurate. So, I mean, they got that right at least, but the angles on this rear view bumper are just totally off. So, again, this is kind of a weird hodgepodge of like elements from the new car, elements from the old car, because they clearly just slap new paint on an old model, but this 3D model for these cars are just not, I don't believe they're 100% accurate. They're just slightly off everywhere. Maybe they're like 60, 70, 80% of the way there, but still, as somebody who reports on it, I can tell the difference. Will the casual fan? Maybe not, but I certainly can. And you can see again from this screenshot, there is one glaring thing missing from right there in the center. There should be something there. You know what's not there? A rear view mirror. A digital rear view mirror is still not in this game. At least that's what this screenshot confirms to me. If Motorsport Games had actually put it in the game, don't you think they would have enabled it for this screenshot in the trailer? Or they would have said anything about it? They haven't yet. The trailer just kind of continues on with a lot of cool footage, but it's not groundbreaking stuff. Yeah, right. And there's no new details really, but the thing comes at the end. October 6th, it'll be free to download for everybody. So that tells me that, if you have purchased NASCAR 21 Ignition, you'll have that either update or that DLC supposedly just show up in your queue. Hopefully it works. I have it for PC, so we're going to play it here on the channel. Unfortunately, at this time, I'm announcing that there will be a Season 3 of NASCAR 21 Ignition. Every time they've done a major update, we've done a new career mode. We did Season 1 when the game first launched in its launch date state, and oh boy, that was rough. But we still won a championship in that series. In Season 2, I literally, as soon as I'm done talking about this video, I'm going to record the finale of Season 2 for the career mode of NASCAR 21 Ignition. So we'll see how that goes. But I don't know. This game just, they're fixing problem after problem, yes, but there are glaring issues with this game. There have been since day one, and yeah, we can sit here and say, oh, it gets better, but that doesn't really matter. We're not in the it's getting better business. We're in the we want a complete game. I mean, this last week we celebrated the 20-year release of NASCAR Thunder 2003. How great was that game? NASCAR Thunder 02 was phenomenal, 03 was better, and 04 was the GOAT, period. And yeah, they put out some other good games that were good, not great after that, EA did, and then we went through a period where we went through different developers, and there was different completions, different variations of the NASCAR game, which weren't that great. Some were fine, but most were not that great. And then when this studio took over a few years ago, you had a bad game initially, followed by better, and then we get to NASCAR Heat 4, and Motorsport Games buys out 704 Games and essentially takes over the company and basically the future of NASCAR gaming for the next 11 years. We still have another, I want to say 9 years to go on that contract, 10 years to go on that contract. So Motorsport Games is here to stay if they stay in business. But here's the thing. NASCAR Heat 5 was truly Motorsport Games, I don't want to say their first forte into gaming, but it kind of was. It was half theirs, kind of. And they weren't familiar with the code. They were handed this code that they weren't familiar with, and they didn't know what to do with it. So they put out Heat 5 in a rush during COVID with, frankly, lipstick on a pig mentality. And we all complained about Heat 5, but when Heat 5 came out, we couldn't possibly have imagined, oh, things could get worse. And then NASCAR 21 Ignition dropped. And it was like, wow, things got so much worse. NASCAR 21 Ignition was Motorsport Games' first real game that they put out that was solely their creation. They had 100% creativity with that one. They took 3 years to develop this game, and this is what they came up with. They kept promising things are going to get better, things are going to get better. And then their message at some point became, this is going to be a good building block for the future. This is going to be a good building block. This game's going to be okay, but not great. Well, this game is going to be good, but the next one will be great. Oh, the next one will be great. That's what the message like slowly evolved into, which was very odd. And the game came out. We all saw what they meant. It was awful, unplayable. It still borderline is, but you know, the handful of people who have stuck it out, literally all 12 of us, according to online analysis of how many people play it on Steam at any given time, or in general in the last 30 days. Most of us are content creators. At least 3-4 of us are content creators who play NASCAR 21 Ignition on a regular basis. I've put in 75 hours, I want to say. Here's the Motorsport Games website with this story that got put out. Motorsport Games NASCAR 21 Ignition gets a tune-up under the hood for the 2022 season. Motorsport Games' NASCAR 21 Ignition, that's how we're going to refer to this. They want to get their name in front of this garbage product? Okay, I will happily oblige with that. Motorsport Games, a leading racing game developer? How can you get not even a full sentence in and there's already a lie? You can't make this up. A leading racing game developer, publisher, and esports ecosystem provider of official motorsports racing series throughout the world? Whoa. Someone has a very loose grip on reality, don't they? Announced today a season update to NASCAR 21 Ignition, also known as Ignition, to reflect the 2022 NASCAR Cup Series season, when there's only like 7 races remaining in the 2022 NASCAR season. Updates to the title will be seen across Race Now, online multiplayer, and the paint booth. So no career mode. The 2022 season update will be available for download starting on October 6, 2022 for PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox One, Series X, S and X, and PC through the Steam store. For current owners of Ignition, both Standard and Champions editions will be available to download the update for free, while those who do not currently own Ignition can purchase it at the retail point of $19.99 US and then receive the free installment. Additionally, NASCAR 21 Victory Lane is still available, which will include the Season 1, which is the 2022 DLC content, and 2022 Season Update, as well as the Season 2, which is the 2022 DLC content. A first look at the new features within the game can be seen in the trailer here, which we've already seen. So, yeah, they lowered the price point to $19.99. Again, it's a yearly release game that is already been lowered to this price point at every other retail store. So, makes sense. They've just been saying it's still worth $50 out of delusions of grandeur. But yeah, it's officially been reduced to $19.99. I can get it to you literally for $4. I don't own any, website that does this, but I know of a Steam website that sells Steam codes legally, mind you, officially licensed through video game companies, that is not a sponsor of mine, that I don't want to mention by name. But if you want this game for I think it's $6-7, something like that, go ahead and send me a DM or shoot me a message over on Twitter at HeyAlanBailey, and I'll show you where you can get it if you really want it that bad. But frankly, for the exact same price, I would personally purchase NASCAR Heat 5. So one of the features we didn't talk about in the trailer breakdown is the fact that we will get new MRN Alex Hayden intros throughout the game. He had to redo them because everything was kind of catered for the 2021 season, so that's not too hard. You could pay Alex to go in there and redo that. It's a lot of work, but Alex is a pro, so they're going to sound great. The pre-race intros look great. The presentation looks phenomenal. Nobody's ever bad-mouthed that, but yeah, that's just where we are right now, where they're just kind of updating it, and essentially they took all the extra work that they were working on for the 2022 game that was going to come out this month that they canceled because 2021 was so bad, and they put all that content into a DLC essentially, and they're putting it out there for free. Kudos for them. Kudos to them, I should say, because truly that's the right move. They screwed up with NASCAR 21 Ignition, and I don't think that they're that crazy enough to know internally that they didn't. I'm hearing morale over at Motorsport Games is incredibly low, and I get that, and I can respect that. Management over there really screwed up. They pushed their workers to do things in a time crunch situation that was frankly unrealistic. They didn't invest the money and the resources that they needed to into developing this game because this game doesn't work. I'm not trying to bully them at this point. I'm not trying to badmouth them. I'm just simply stating this is what happened to them. I feel bad for them. I want to see them succeed. I want to see them put the greatest NASCAR console game out ever. I think we as fans haven't gotten that in 20 years out of NASCAR console gaming since the EA days in the early 2000s. And I think as race fans, we deserve that. Formula One fans have been getting great game releases for the last 10 years, and yeah, they just got one that was not perfect, so they're acting like it's the end of the world, but NASCAR gaming fans know exactly what this is like because we have good years, we have very bad years, we have even worse years, and that's kind of where it's at right now with NASCAR console gaming. Motorsport Games is exclusive, so they're going to produce NASCAR gaming in some way for the next decade, give or take. So we have to truly get used to them being here. There's rumors that they could go out of business, that they're low on cash, but they're part of a much larger corporation that has a lot of money to play with that is profitable. So if their parent company wants to keep them in business, which I think they do, they'll continue to pump money into Motorsport Games, and they'll be in business for years to come. So I don't think they're going to go out of business this year. I'd like to see that happen just so that, you know, another gaming development company can go in there and kind of scoop up the company, what's left of the company with its employees and its resources, and put more money and more time into it, because frankly current management needs to get out and the company needs to be restructured with new upper management, I believe, in order to really give this company a fighting chance. And upper management's going to hear this and they're going to hate me. Motorsport Games, I'm sure, already hates me, and that's fine. They don't have to like me. My job is to report what they're doing, report my experiences as a consumer and a content creator to you, so that you can make an educated decision yourself based on these facts from Motorsport Games and my personal experience and my personal opinions. And does that line get blurred in this show? Not really, if you pay attention. But if you're confused about something, send me a DM and I will love to clear it up for you, or just let me know down in the comments below. I love to talk about this. I truly want to see this company get better. But honestly, I don't see it happening with current management. Current management has very much proven that they have one goal in mind, and that is to make as much money as humanly possible for themselves. Not for their company, not for their employees, but for their own personal wealth gains. And I hate it. I really do. But a couple of quotes. But there was also information released on the 2022 update for NASCAR Heat 5. This is Traction.gg's website, which is owned and operated by Motorsport Games with separate business managers. So basically, Traction.gg is Motorsport Games propaganda. It's you know, these articles, the information in the articles are fed to Traction, and they essentially copy and paste the talking points into these articles. So these are essentially another unofficial, well, actually, these are essentially official statements from Motorsport Games, but let's dive into it. It is confirmed that the 2022 NASCAR Cup Series DLC is coming to NASCAR Heat 5. We knew that this was coming. This is something that's been rumored. There's been evidence on Reddit and of the source code of the actual game through Steam and stuff like that, that there is an update for NASCAR Heat 5 that is coming with NASCAR 2022 season content in it, as far as the cars, as far as the next gen, as far as new tracks. And I like NASCAR Heat 5. I griped about it when it was out, and when we did, I think, 6 seasons, however many seasons we did in NASCAR Heat 5 career mode on the channel. We had fun. There was a lot of good times. There was some bad times there, but we had fun. I can honestly say it is the last time I played a NASCAR game all the way through that I enjoyed. The brand manager himself for the NASCAR Heat Series and for NASCAR 21 Ignition went out on Twitter after this article on Traction was put out and clarified, to answer some more questions, the 2022 NASCAR Heat 5 update will be a paid DLC that will be available for $12.34. The updates to the NASCAR Heat Mobile will come as free content to in-game users. So, first off, NASCAR Heat Mobile is a free NASCAR racing app available on the App Store and Google Play Store. I believe it's still free. It was developed pre-Motorsport Games, and Motorsport Games took it over, and essentially they've been putting lipstick on the pig because they can't actually produce a new game. They don't have the time, the resources, or the money because they're already spread thin over there, from what I understand. So, it's a fun-ish free game. It's worth, a download if you are trying to kill some time and you want to have some fun. I'll be honest, the game at this point, I believe, is 4 or 5 years old or thereabouts. And at this point, there's not much to that game. Once you kind of do a couple of season run-throughs, which go extraordinarily quick, you really have no incentive to keep playing. So I probably have a good 40 hours, give or take, on that game, and it's fine. It's not great. It's not bad. It's fine. Serviceable. The NASCAR Heat 5, I truly wish that this would have been free. That was my hope. And internally, Motorsport Games, from what I understand, was not complaining, but they were contemplating what they wanted to do with this. If they wanted to make it a paid DLC, there were a lot of those who were saying they wanted this to be a $20 or a $30 DLC. There are some that wanted it to be $10. There are some that wanted it to be free in the company, and they discussed it and molded over internally, from what I understand. And they molded over for a while, and it looks like they landed on $12.34. Why $12.34? I'll never know. That's an odd number, the 34 cents, but that's fine. Will I buy it? For purposes of this channel, if that DLC is playable in career mode, I will download it. But the question remains, if you're a NASCAR Heat 5 fan or player like I am, when does this 2022 Cup Series DLC hit Heat 5? When's it going to be available? Official word from Motorsport Games is a later date. Translation? Maybe Christmas. I'm hearing sometime in November or Christmas. That's about the time. And yeah, I do recommend NASCAR Heat 5 over NASCAR 21 Ignition at this point. Yes, it was confirmed back in April of 2022 that we will see a new console NASCAR game expected in 2023. This was the plan. This roadmap was released back in April, and the patch that came out for the next gen, which was essentially a test now with a single car at Daytona on the big track, not the road course. Very boring. Handling at that track doesn't really matter. It just matters how fast you go. So, bad patch, useless patch. In September, we were supposed to get this month, we're supposed to get the full team rosters and the full regular Cup Series schedule, the updated UI and in-race HUD, the Fanatec wheel support. This was all supposed to come out in September 2022. That's been pushed back to October 6th. So this got pushed back because, again, they're behind, because they're understaffed, because they laid off their staff. NASCAR 22, the Nintendo Switch launch, they had to put this out before the launch, and this is hard date locked. So this expansion of the 2022 field for NASCAR 21 Ignition, this free update, is rushed. It was heavily rushed, and because of that, it's not going to be as good if they had more time to develop it. We're going to see the first DLC for 2022 in October. Supposedly, DLC number 2 is going to come in November, with the third in December. They're going to get everything out this calendar year. 3 updates for 2022 paint schemes on the next-gen cars. Again, you'll have to pay for this. If you have the Champions Edition like I do, I believe you still have to pay for it. We'll find out when we get there, but I believe that's what is going to happen. I am not going to pay for this. I'm not. I refuse to pay another $1 for NASCAR 21 Ignition. They took $90 of my money already. And then somewhere mid-year 2023, which means maybe 4th of July, maybe, July 4th weekend, Chicago weekend, that'd be actually a really cool release, could come out in 2023. So hopefully that happens. I have not heard if they're on track or not. I hear that they are understaffed, that some people were laid off, and I feel really bad about that, man, really bad. But supposedly mid-year we're going to get this. It really wouldn't surprise me if this got pushed back to fall to an October release date, just like this last year. The entire reason that Motorsport Games does this is because they just are so behind in their production that they need that time to really try to work out the kinks. And as you can see from NASCAR 21 Ignition, they don't know how to iron out the kinks. So I feel bad for this company, man. I really do. The 2023 NASCAR game will not inherit the tech debt of NASCAR 21 Ignition as its base, but instead be capitalizing on the phenomenal work done by the teams that brought you KartCraft and R-Factor 2 while still utilizing the Unreal Engine, the community update stated. Even Traction, a website that is owned by Motorsport Games, acknowledged there are a number of things that went wrong with the launch of NASCAR 21 Ignition, from game-breaking glitches to incorrect or forgotten rule sets. Ignition was not well received by many. But what do you think of the saga of Motorsport Games, what they've done with NASCAR gaming the last 3-4 years, and what do you think of what's left of NASCAR 2022 and maybe even NASCAR 2023 potentially coming out next 4th of July? Let me know in the comments down below. And since you're there, make sure that you smash that subscribe button so that you don't miss a video here on the channel. And don't forget to log on to AmericanRacingNetwork.com for the latest motorsports news. ARN, the Motorsports Authority. Thank you so much for watching. For Shifting Gears, I'm Alan Bailey. We'll see you at the track. Bye, Gearheads.